What's up, guys? Back for another video here today, and today we're gonna be doing reaction. We're gonna try a little bit something else, without the face cam because I can't find my face cam right now for some stupid reason. But today we're gonna be watching something based on the Packers right now, and it's the Aaron Rodgers needs another ring in the Super Bowl to be an all-time quarterback. In my opinion, I don't think he does. I think he's an all-time quarterback. I do think he's gonna win one more, but let's check it out. Let's see what they have to say about it.
Does he need another Super Bowl win to be considered among the all-time greats?
Okay, wait a minute before I keep going here. Let's fix this a little bit here. There you go. We get a little better there.
I'm afraid I think he does. And that's hard coming from me because, as I've said on many occasions, he's a bad man.
This man loves Aaron Rodgers.
He's the most talented quarterback I've ever seen. Certainly not the most accomplished, but the most talented. Yes, he is. At least until Patrick Mahomes came along, and Patrick Mahomes has to have a sustained level of excellence before I'm willing to give him that. Aaron Rodgers is just that bad of a man. Here's the problem. Yes, Aaron Rodgers has a Super Bowl title. Although Brett Favre only has one more.
Yeah, I know, like, the whole thing is based on, rings, when it comes to, like, lots of sports. But if you see what this man's done for his whole career, he's already passed some other Hall of Famers, like, for example, like, Brett Favre. Yeah, Brett Favre has 2 rings? No, he has 1. Yeah, Brett Favre only has 1. I might be wrong, and I feel like Aaron Rodgers passed him. He has the same amount of rings, I'm pretty sure. Like, don't quote me on that. And he is just, and he has better. I feel like, obviously, Brett Favre's obviously played more years than Aaron so far, but, at the end when Aaron is retired, I bet he will be over Brett Favre, and he's a Hall of Famer. So, in my eyes, I think he doesn't need one. If Brett Favre gets in, I think Aaron should be able to get in easily, by the end of his career.
Outward as a person, more eccentric as a personality to some degree, more outward, more personable to some degree in a lot of people's eyes. You had people all over the airways. Oh, look at Brett Favre trip over his offensive lineman. Oh, look at him throw the ball underhanded. Oh, look at him throw it, run into the arms of his offensive lineman. The kid in him is still there. It's nevertheless all of this nonsense that they throw out about Brett Favre to keep him relevant. Not that he didn't deserve it because he was great, but you know what I'm saying. Bottom line is, though, Kenny Stabler had 1 title. Jeff Hostetler had 1 title. Mark Ripien, Trent Dilfer, Phil Simms, Joe Theismann, people like that. Yeah. 1 title. When you get more than 1, then all of a sudden.
Well, you also got to think, too, people are questioning, is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer? And he has 2 rings, and they're questioning about him. So, rings don't always matter because, I feel like in my eyes, rings don't matter. It helps, obviously, but I don't think it matters because, like, even people's, saying, oh, is Eli, yeah, in his younger years now, he's like, he wasn't that good towards the end of his career. But, hey, I think he's a Hall of Famer in my eyes. But, yeah.
It's Peyton Manning that's up there. It's John Elway that's up there. It's Roger Staubach that's up there. It's Big Ben Roethlisberger that's up there. It's just a different dimension in terms of the conversation from an historical perspective where people start reflecting on your career. They remember you or whatever. Doug Williams can get away with only having 1 Super Bowl title because he was the first black quarterback to pull it off. So there's historical significance there. But for the most part, guys that won 1 Super Bowl, you respect them, you praise them. But when you talk about them with the allure that history brings to your argument and what have you, something is lacking when it's just 1.
Well, in my eyes, I don't feel like there's any lacking to it. Like, if you think of Aaron Rodgers, you think he's one of the most, he's going to obviously go down in history. I think he's definitely a Hall of Famer either way. Obviously, you can let me know in the comments. But, like, yeah, I think he's definitely a Hall of Famer. I have nothing against Aaron when he comes to Hall of Faming. Obviously, I'm not obviously saying this because I'm a Packer fan. I like to be as real as possible, when I am talking about, certain things. But yeah, it's one thing where I think Aaron, definitely a Hall of Famer. I don't think he needs another one. And yeah, people are gonna still talk about Aaron. Obviously Packer fans. Obviously, I'm never gonna forget about Aaron. He's been in my my life as a Packer fan. You know, since he got drafted. At the point he was drafted, I wasn't really much into football, but I was still a Packer fan. So, but yeah, you know, but yeah.
And Drew Brees, I believe, are going to have that issue. Aaron Rodgers more so than.
No. Okay. Drew Brees is a Hall of Famer. I don't think Drew Brees, no chance. No chance he's not a Hall of Famer. He's broken so many records and he's still doing it. And he has won Super Bowl. I feel like Super Bowl, if down in the comments, do you think the Super Bowls are more important when you go in the Hall of Fame or not? In my eyes, they're not. I say if you at least win one, I can see somebody that doesn't get in the Hall of Fame. I would say you at least need to have one, but like you don't, if you have really like amazing stats, then obviously I guess you belong in there. But I say if you at least have one with like amazing stats, always played good through his career, I feel like you should be a Hall of Famer in my eyes. I don't know why. Oh, you got to have 2 Super Bowls to be, going in the Hall of Fame. What's wrong with one? Look at the way he won that Super Bowl. As a 6th seed, coming in and just destroying everybody in his way. So yeah, I totally disagree. That he needs another one. But anyway, yeah, Breeze for another example. He's definitely a Hall of Famer. He's broken so many records, and he's still in the league with 1 ring. So yeah, he's definitely a Hall of Famer.
Drew Brees, because unfairly, I might add, because I love Aaron Rodgers, but he isn't considered the most personable dude in the world or the most likable dude in the world. And I think those things will get held against him when it's just one title. He wins another, argument goes away.
Yeah, I know he's not been the most like chill guy. Like we had some years when Mike McCarthy that didn't really go so well. But in my opinion, I thought that was more on Mike McCarthy than Aaron. But anyway, you guys can have your opinion.
I couldn't disagree with you more. I think things have changed because Tom Brady got 6. So now it's like if
No, that's weird. That's slowly weird. Like I don't think it's changed since Tom Brady got 6. Because Tom Brady, he is the GOAT. He is the GOAT. Obviously, you can have your own opinion, but he's a GOAT. Doesn't matter how his career ends, he's a GOAT because it's hard to win 6 rings. Like, I don't think there was anybody, there's no one else in the history of football that was a starting quarterback that's won 6 rings. I would even say 4. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that, but that hasn't won 6 rings. And, so yeah, I don't think that should really be progress. I think, okay, if everybody's averaging about 3, then I could say, okay, I could see this argument, but like, I don't know. It's just, it's not, to me, it's not, it doesn't, I don't think it changes because of him winning 6.
If you want to be in the GOAT conversation, you better have more than one. It used to.
Well, I think as much as I would love Aaron to be in the GOAT conversation, like, obviously, I think Tom Brady, only if somehow Aaron just wins like 5 or some shit, then I would be like, okay, now we're really comparing. But Aaron, I would say, has been the more accurate quarterback and less, obviously, interception ratio to touchdowns. He's obviously blew that out of the water. No one's even close. But hey, this year I think he threw like 3 or 4. But yeah, just a bad year. That's a bad year for him. That's usually average for a lot of quarterbacks.
You needed one just to be in the GOAT conversation, or else Dan Marino, who was throwing 45-plus touchdowns in an era where no one else was doing it, would be in that GOAT conversation. He's not, because he didn't have one. Had he, he'd have been right there. Peyton Manning getting his 2nd certainly helped him because he's a contemporary of Tom Brady's. Aaron Rodgers already got the 1. The guys you mentioned, Stephen A., for the most part, were not quarterbacks on the same level as some of the other guys. So, for example, John Elway would have been remembered like a Donovan McNabb type, very very gifted, getting his team all the way there, but not over the top, right? Not actually winning the chip. He got a running back last couple seasons, got to.
Yeah, like look at this. Look at this number here. Look at this. I know obviously there's Hall of Famers also, so I can't just go based on actual players. Do you see how many people that should be Hall of Famers on this list? Okay, yeah, obviously Tom Brady, that's definitely a Hall of Famer. Big Ben, obviously, he's a Hall of Famer. Breeze, I think he's definitely a Hall of Famer. I think when Patrick Mahomes' career ends, he's a Hall of Famer. I know it's way early to say that, but I feel like it is. Aaron, I think he's a Hall of Famer. Wilson, I could see being a Hall of Famer. Joe Flacco, I don't think I see him as a Hall of Famer at all. But yeah, everybody but Joe Flacco and Nick Foles there, I could see being a Hall of Famer, even if they don't win another ring. I feel like, in my eyes.
That really helped him. He was in the GOAT conversation for a while. Brett Favre's got one. He's in the GOAT conversation. If you are already...
I don't feel like there's no one. I don't feel like you can even have one, or I don't think you even have three and be in the GOAT conversation. I think when you get like 4 or 5 or even 6, you're in the GOAT conversation just for the purpose of like Tom Brady. Look what Tom Brady's done for his whole career with that Patriots team, winning 6. It's unbelievable to see like somebody. Sorry about that. See somebody like that, you know. But yeah,
super talented and among generally a top 3 to 5 quarterback of your era year in and year out, and you got a Super Bowl, you're an all-time great. Drew Brees is an all-time great. Aaron Rodgers is an all-time great. What he could use is another one to start having people say, wait a minute. He's got 2. I know Brady got 6. But Brady was with Belichick, especially let's see what happens in this divorce, Brady and Belichick. If Rodgers gets another one and then gets close, let's say one more time, you start to look at it and say, look, contemporaries thought he was just better.
I'll say this. I wouldn't put him in the GOAT conversation if he wins one more, at least in my eyes, like as a Packer fan. I think if he wins 3, you could start talking about it because, yeah, Aaron Rodgers, through his career, he won 3 with like 2 different coaches. Belichick and Brady, they were together for 6. So pretty much, a big thing there. So, but yeah, that's just how I think. But you guys can always leave your opinion in the comments.
He never threw interceptions, threw a lot of touchdowns, could do everything we want. And he has that second Super Bowl. Now he can, unlike Peyton Manning, he didn't choke under pressure in the playoffs. So Rodgers could start to maybe enter a GOAT conversation with a second Super Bowl. But as far as just all-time great go,
I would say something about Aaron. When it comes to like choking, I don't think Aaron's really choked through his career. I can't. I've seen him come back a lot. Hail Mary King, but yeah, that's another thing. I feel like if he gets one more, he's definitely over Peyton Manning. In my eyes, I think he's over Peyton Manning. Obviously, that might be, sorry, Broncos and Colts fans, but in my eyes, I think he's over Peyton Manning. And I'm not being biased at all. Like when I talk about this shit, only if I'm saying I'm being biased, then I'm being biased, but. A lot of times when I talk about football, I'm not trying to be biased at all because if I be biased, it makes no sense. Why am I even saying it? But I definitely think Aaron is over Peyton Manning for that reason. So yeah. I can maybe see him over Big Ben if he wins one more. I could see it. Yeah.
Already an all-time great. He's already been validated by the Super Bowl. He does not need another one to be called an all-time great.
You know what, Max? I completely agree with you. He's an all-time great. Now, from an accomplishment standpoint, he may not have GOAT accomplishments, but when you look at what does the all-time great mean? That means you are one of, or you have been one of, the best to ever be, whatever it is that we're talking about being all-time great. There was a period of time where Aaron Rodgers, we talked about him being the most talented quarterback in the National Football League, a period of 5 to 8 years. When you look at...
Yeah, look at this. So of all time, passing touchdowns, 8, ranked 8. Completion percentage, I'm pretty sure he's ranked 10th. Passing yards, he's 13th. But the one thing about Aaron is, I remember a couple of years ago, I think it was like 3 or 4. Before Brady got like I think 2 more when he still had 4, I think. I could be wrong. And he was getting compared, like who's the GOAT, between the two. Like, was it Aaron or Tom Brady? Because I actually, and obviously Dan Marino was thrown in there. Not Dan Marino. Joe Montana was thrown in there, or was it Steve Young? Whatever. They're all thrown in there pretty much. But yeah, that's the one thing is, you also got to think too, like, Aaron's been on a lot of shitty teams in his career. Not shitty teams, but you know what I mean, like shitty, like never really had a defense for a long time. Yeah, the Super Bowl year we had a good defense, obviously. This year we had a good defense, got us to the NFC Championship, and obviously lost to, I would say, a better defense and a very good run game. Not really going to talk about that much. But yeah, Aaron just never really had a good team. You could say, oh, yeah, he had a good offense for a couple years, but yeah, offensive firepower ain't going to get you much. Yeah, we did go to the NFC Championship multiple times and make the playoffs and stuff like that. But, you're going to need a defense, at least a decent one, to get you farther because there's 2 sides of the ball and 2 different, things you have to do. Like, yeah, you can go down and score a touchdown first drive, but are you going to stop the opponents from going down and getting a touchdown? Simple as that, and that's obviously 4 quarters of that. So, you're going to need to score more points, or not more points, but also stop them from, scoring or in key situations. So you got to need a good defense. But yeah, I think that's what's holding him back because like Brady's always had a good defense in my opinion. I can't remember what year. I can't remember if he really had a bad defense any of his years. I could say the opposite. Like one thing I'll say about Brady that I feel like Rodgers really doesn't do is, I say he does, but I don't know if he does it as good as Brady in my eyes, is making everybody better. You could take somebody like, for example, Josh Gordon from the Browns. He came over from the Browns. He had a decent, I think, 1 or 2 seasons with the Browns. He came over to the Patriots and turned him into kind of like a star. He turned a lot of people coming to that team into like stars or at least, a better player. That's the one thing I kind of noticed, and I think that's more Belichick than Brady, but like a lot of defensive players. Obviously, Brady didn't make them better, but I felt Belichick kind of helped out on a lot of it. But Aaron, I know, like I like Aaron a lot, obviously. I think he does make players better. He puts it in the right area. All he's asking you to do is catch that freaking ball. So it's like, you put it in the right area, you throw it. I think it was this year or last year. I think it was this year. He wasn't the most accurate as he used to be. So a really down year. And think about it this way. Aaron had a down year, and we got to the NFC Championship. Imagine if Aaron and the offense actually played good. Not saying they didn't play, that good, but imagine if they actually had a good season, like an offensive side of the ball, and that defense would have a good side of the ball. I could see us be Super Bowl champions. I could see it, heading into next year. I could definitely see it.
Some of the records that Aaron Rodgers had from a passer rating standpoint, he's probably the quarterback that's taken most care of the football in the history of the game.
Yeah, that's obvious. Everybody knows. When you think of Aaron, at least to my opinion, obviously I think great, but when I think of stat lines, I think of it touchdown to interception ratio. He's blowed every quarterback out of the water when it comes to not throwing picks. And I explained, the pick.
Not his era, but the history of the game. And when you talk about touchdown to interception ratio,
see.
Yeah, I get it. He only has 1 Super Bowl, and I think what we hold against him is the fact that he's arguably been the most talented quarterback that we've ever seen, and he only has 1 Super Bowl.
And I agree with him. I think he's one of the most talented quarterbacks. I think he's even more talented than Tom Brady. I'm saying that right now. I think he's the more talented quarterback. I think Tom Brady just had better teams than Aaron has through his career.
Let me remind you guys, that there are 22 players on the field, and even when you're great, even when you're the best at what you do at a particular
I just started talking about this, obviously in a different way.
position, you still need help. How many times has Aaron Rodgers been in a position where we said, can the defense in Green Bay be better? How many times where we've said, can Aaron Rodgers have a few more weapons? Aaron Rodgers is an all-time great quarterback, but he just can't do it by himself. And to your point, Max,
simple as that, man.
John Elway.
We had 1 year, like, not to make this video like hella long, it's almost over, but we had 1 year where we were literally Aaron was just like throwing the ball, and that's all we had. We were just chucking it, stuff like that. And then when he got hurt, when he got hurt, everybody thought, oh, Aaron, he's the king of this team and all this stuff, and he's gonna lead us somewhere. He can do it all himself. And then when he gets injured, the players, I don't think the players felt the same as the fans, but the fans understand. Obviously, I already understand it, but a lot of them thought, oh, okay, Aaron, he can get us there. It doesn't matter what kind of team he got. Yeah, it does. The man's human, if you guys didn't know. He got injured, and we had somebody by the name of Brett Hundley, and he had some good games. He kind of split, winning and losing, kind of split it. And he didn't do that terrible. He was not that good, but he had some good games, like that one Pittsburgh game he was great in. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. But anyway, and then after that injury, everybody thought thought different about Aaron. But I already known that.
Yes, I get you. John Elway got helped by Terrell Davis. But regardless, John Elway would be an all-time great. I think we get accomplishments and championships confused with whether or not you're an all-time great.
Yes. This man right here, the man in the middle, I don't remember his name. I think it's Boomer. Funny enough. Or something like that. This is the same. What he's saying right now is pretty much everything I'm agreeing with, just for the purpose of, yeah, you don't need championships to be great and be a Hall of Famer, I don't think. I think, okay, yeah, you maybe need one, but you don't need more than one to be an all-time great, I feel like, in my eyes.
Charles Barkley.
But Jim Kelly, is Jim Kelly an all-time great?
Karl Malone,
Hold on, Max.
Dan Marino. These people can be all-time great without championships. I'm sorry?
I think so, but is he? Is Jim Kelly an all-time great?
I'm sorry, Max.
I
I
think he is. I would say so. Is Jim Kelly an all-time great? I think he is, but Elway's usually ahead of him.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube.
All right. But yeah, just to end it out there, that guy, he was pretty much saying the same thing. You don't, simple as this, in my eyes, I'll let you just give you a quick summary. In my eyes, I think Aaron's a Hall of Famer when his career ends. I say if he retired today, it'd be questionable. But I say at the end of his career, even if he doesn't win another one, I think he's an all-time great. Simple as that. But yeah, tell me what you think in the comments. Do you think Aaron is a Hall of Famer? Do you think he needs another ring? Or do you think, no, I think one and, we'll get him there. I think one will, but I definitely think he'll win another one, especially because how our team is looking. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.